Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to look at our commodities, do our daily technical analysis update. We have Powell doing a 0.5% rate hike, and we're seeing some volatility definitely with all the stocks and different sectors and whatnot. But one does stand out strong amongst all of them. That would be crude oil. And we'll go through this. Again, if you need any help with anything commodity related or stock market related, finding-value.com, the Platinum membership. We have a 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time Sunday Platinum question and answer session coming up. So let's dive in here. I'll give you my opinions on the market. So I'm going to start with the dollar, work our way through 10, 30-year yields, precious metals, and then into commodities I follow. So the dollar did sell off today, down 0.36. We're getting these little wicks at the bottom, almost like we've got a little bit of support down here, but pretty big sell-offs. So is this going to continue to the downside, or are we going to pop higher here in the short term? That is yet to be determined. We're going to find out. We do have a falling wedge type formation that is forming up, but I don't see the strength yet. So this very well could drop out to the downside. 10-year yields flat today, 0.06. Slightly higher, but I call it flat. We're sitting on top of this falling wedge pattern where we could break to the upside and move higher with rates. TLT, which is bond prices moving higher, 0.43%. From a big picture view, though, we've had a couple of a bounce, and I don't know if this is going to be a dead cat bounce where it comes up and comes back over and goes sideways for a very long time, or a continuation pattern. We've got TYX, which is the 30-year yield, up 0.31%. So that's slightly higher today. But to me, it does look like this could potentially go lower, kind of like a flag type pattern. Where that could drop out to the downside. The TYX to TNX ratio slightly higher today. That is actually slightly favorable for precious metals, even with the weaker dollar. We've got the CRB index moving higher, breaking out of its downtrend here. I think this is going to start to rip it. It's highly correlated to oil. It's a big component of it. So more than likely, oil is probably going to go higher. CRB to S&P 500, it's ripping it to the upside with that outperformance of commodities. That looks like it wants to go on up. Gold, slightly lower. It's a bloody nose formation. That's generally a move where we could go higher in the short term. So that's looking good. We've got silver heading a little bit higher, up 0.88%. There we are going higher with silver, and that just continues to bubble higher, I'll say. Platinum down $0.1%. That is the bloody nose. Let's see if we can break to the upside here. Come on, buyers. Push us on up. We've got wicks at the top of all these guys. That usually means that there's some selling pressure up there. That is the big 1050 mark where we have a lot of resistance. We just got to break through it. XAU to gold ratio, slightly lower. No update on where this thing's going to go. It's just going back and forth. GDX is also right against that resistance line. We're trying to break through it. We'll see if we can break through it here. SILJ also slightly lower, but we're also against another longer-term resistance area. This big area here, we got a bunch of trading pressure through here. We got to break through all that previous trading pressure. Crude oil up 2.6%. Looking pretty good, actually. Nice, strong finish. Nice big 3 candlesticks here. The buying pressure continues. China's reopening. I know we had a build in inventories recently, and I know they're still releasing the Strategic Petroleum Reserve releases. They're supposed to end here at some point soon. And everything's looking better for oil. Natural gas taken out to the woodshed, down 8.25%. I do think this is going to kind of bounce sideways for a little while for natural gas. XOP, yeah, you know me, slightly lower today, 0.52%. Big selling pressure here. That's what I look. Big selling pressure equals big momentum. So I do think that this is probably going to bounce around a little bit. And it could even come back here if it wanted to. So let's just watch and see what happens. The candlesticks don't say they're going to fall that far, but with this much momentum behind it, it makes me think that we want to come somewhere lower in XOP. OIH, a little bit of selling pressure. Again, we've got lots of selling pressure here in these candlesticks. They're big, strong down candlesticks. This very well could be bouncing sideways or even come back to the breakout area. Do a back test. That's OIH Energy Service Companies. The Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, man, we still have all this selling pressure here, guys. Usually when you get these big candlesticks, and then you've got all this like little stuff in here, usually that means it's stair-stepping lower. So I'm still in that camp until I see buying pressure where I'll just reverse my thought. This is, again, very short-term in nature that I'm looking at these candlesticks. But overall, we've got a lot of support all in this area right underneath us. So I don't think it's going to go down very far if we still have selling pressure left. I think it'll mainly go sideways. The URNM down 1%. Again, I don't see buyers stepping in yet. I want to see the buyers. I want to see green candlesticks that look like this guy there. I want to see big green candlesticks power us through out of this guy on up. But we don't have it yet. And it's still open for the sellers to see what they can do. One positive thing, though, is if you look at the size of these pullbacks, they are getting smaller and smaller in size. The sellers are leaking out of this thing, and the buyers could come in here and flip this at any second. Where the green army, I call it the green army, the big green candlesticks come in, lays down fat green candlesticks, and then small selling pressure. We'll see for that candlestick change if it comes. I'll let you know what that looks like, and we'll continue to monitor it. TAN putting in a bullish engulfing looks really strong, actually. So TAN looks very strong for a move higher. COPX, basically sideways today. To me, it looks like we're running into some selling pressure here, and we could maybe pop out to the downside in the short term. LIT down a little bit, little wick at the bottom. It does have good support in this general vicinity there. Hopefully it comes on up, but you've got good support here. You've got maybe a kind of a different type of trend coming down that we're going to have to break that. And perhaps we can get moving to the upside once we break that downtrend line, but there's work to do. REMX down a little bit. This thing's just moving sideways. Maybe something like that. Either way, moving sideways, I don't see a clear direction yet. The S&P 500 down 0.6%. Oh man, we haven't broken out yet. So we've got this blue resistance line coming through, and we have not broken out yet. We want to see a breakout here if we're going to move higher. Powell coming out saying 0.5%, and he repeated multiple times about some sort of 2% inflation's the target. The market's probably confused. It's like, well, you got to loosen up, buddy. Otherwise, the markets are gonna tank. But that's what he's reiterating. Composite index it's at the same thing. It's right at that breakout resistance line that we're trying to break. We could very easily sell off if they want to push this market lower, the sellers. EEM flat today, even though the dollar was down, still looks all right. XHB slightly lower today, still looks fine. Everything's holding on. We've got kind of support right there, so we're right on support that way. MU down 0.8% at support. We've got copper. Copper's at support. A lot of stuff's at support, guys. We'll see which way these things break. Lumber just moving down in this falling wedge. We've got iron ore moving down in the falling wedge. just chopping sideways in. Let me go to weeklies, kind of see it. And I think eventually it'll break this falling wedge to the upside. Aluminum also still looking good. We're at support. It's grinding higher. So I think aluminum's going to go higher over time. Baltic Dry Index right at the breakout of the falling wedge. I think it will go higher. Newcastle Coal looks good. Is this a topping portion where we aren't going to move on up? We'll have to see. But coal's looking pretty good. Or we just go into a big kind of long-term upward trend line for a while. And then Ethereum down a little bit today. There we are, the little bloody nose. Bitcoin's getting that same type of thing with a little wick at the top. So it traded up higher today, but sold off throughout the day. That usually indicates an interim, short-term kind of pullback that we could get, and we'll see what that pullback looks like. Small candlesticks is what you want to see if you want Ethereum or Bitcoin to go higher. But that's what I've got for today, guys. I'm going to do a midweek update for the Platinum members today for the finding-value.com. Look for that if you're a member there. I'm going to go over the ones that I think are the best opportunities. I do think there's some good opportunities in oil and nat gas that look pretty good. All right, guys, but that's what I got for today. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you haven't. And I will catch you next time. This is Finding Value.